I watched an interview recently that genuinely stopped me cold. A woman, a professional, an adult someone who claims to be a Christian was asked whether she would discuss her finances with her husband if she got married. She said no. She would not tell her husband how much she earns, and she would not want to know how much he earns either. And the interviewer said, "But you are in a partnership. That is your husband. You're building a life together." And she looked completely unbothered by that reality. I refuse to be a prophet of doom, but I will tell you plainly, that kind of marriage will not work. And today I want to explain exactly why it won't. Welcome back to YinkusPepe Talks, real talk, real life with clear eyes. If you're new here, my name is YinkusPepe, and this is Yinkus Digest. Today's conversation is about money and marriage, and about financial transparency, about what hyper-independence actually costs a marriage, and about why some people need to hear this clearly before they walk down any aisle. Let's talk. Before I go further, I want to address something that occasionally comes up. People ask me, why do you always say husband and wife instead of man and woman? Because I'm speaking from the context of marriage. A wife submits willingly to a husband, not men. A husband loves his wife, not women. There's a stark and significant difference between a man and a husband, between a woman and a wife. A man can do whatever he wants with his money. A husband is in a covenant. Those are not the same person, and they do not carry the same weight. So when I speak about marriage, I will use married language. Get it? Good. Let's proceed. What the interview revealed. This woman was not talking about protecting herself from a stranger. She was talking about her future husband, the man she would choose, the man she would stand before God and witnesses and commit her life to. And she did not want him to know what she earns, and she did not want to know what he earns either. The interviewer pushed, "But you are building a life together." She remained unmoved. And I thought about every couple I have ever encountered where money became the issue that quietly dismantled everything. Every marriage where one person was managing financial stress privately while the other had no idea. Every household where his money and her money were two separate countries with a border neither of them was willing to cross. And I thought, this is where it starts, not in the middle of a marriage, before it, in the ideology a person carries into it. What money represents in marriage. Here's what I want every person with this mindset to understand. When you refuse to be financially transparent with your spouse, you are not protecting your independence, you are protecting yourself from intimacy. Because full intimacy, the kind that a real marriage requires, means being fully known, not just emotionally, not just physically, financially too. Your money habits, your financial fears, your relationship with debt, your spending instincts, your savings discipline or the lack of it. These things reveal who you are. They reveal what you believe about the future, what you believe about the security, and what you believe about trust. When you hide your finances from your spouse, you are hiding yourself. And a marriage between two people who are hiding from each other is not a marriage. It is a performance of one. Money and marriage cannot be separated. The way you handle money together is one of the truest reflections of whether you are actually building one life or two lives that happen to share a postcode. The hyper-independence problem. Let me name what is actually happening when a person walks into a marriage with this ideology. It is not strength. It is not wisdom. It is not financial intelligence. It is trauma dressed as independence. It is the specific defense mechanism of a person who has been hurt or burnt, financially or otherwise, and has decided that the safest version of intimacy is the version where the other person never has full access. And I say that with compassion because I understand where it comes from. Women especially have historical and personal reasons to protect themselves financially. Those reasons are valid. The wounds behind them are real. But you cannot bring a defensive posture into a covenant relationship and expect the covenant to function. You cannot require full vulnerability from your spouse while withholding yours. You cannot say, "I want a husband," while structuring your life as though you were still single. That is not marriage. That is cohabitation with a certificate. What trust in marriage actually requires. Trust in marriage is not built by never needing anything from each other. It is built by choosing to be fully known, including the parts of you that are messy and uncertain and still figuring things out, and discovering that you are still chosen. Financial transparency is one of the most practical expressions of that trust. It says, I am not hiding from you. I am not protecting myself against you. I am choosing to be in this completely. 2 incomes, 1 household, 1 vision, 1 future. That is what money and marriage are supposed to look like. Not his money, not her money, our resources, managed together, invested in the life we're building with both people's knowledge and both people's full participation. And here's the part nobody wants to say. When 2 people come into a marriage with their own separate bags, his money, her money, his space, her independence, his secrets, her walls, they are not building a marriage, they are colliding. 2 collections of unresolved patterns and unexamined beliefs, running into each other daily, creating friction that neither person fully understands because neither person ever brought their whole self to the table. 6 months in, a year in, 2 years in, the friction becomes a fault line and eventually something breaks. And then people who were watching from the outside say, marriage is a scam. No, marriage is not a scam. The people who failed at it were not ready to make it work. They were not mature enough, not honest enough, not willing to be known enough, and they followed a cultural script about independence that had no place in the covenant they claimed to be entering. Marriage is not by force, and I mean that without condensation. If you want your money to be your own, your space to be your own, your life to be structured around yourself, that is a completely valid choice. Live it fully. Travel the world. Build your empire. Adopt a dog. Be happy. All you. But do not marry because a marriage entered half-heartedly without a wall already built around the most practical dimension of your shared life is a marriage that will cost both people far more than it was ever worth. She said she will not tell her husband how much she earns, and she will not want to know about how much he earns either. And the interviewer said, you're in a partnership. You're building life together. She was not moved. I want to ask her and everyone who agrees with her one question. If you will not be fully known by your husband, what exactly are you building together and what exactly are you doing in a marriage? Because a marriage built on partial truth is not a marriage. It is an arrangement. An arrangement serves the people inside them right up until the moment they stop being convenient. You deserve more than that. So does the person you marry. Do better. Go in whole. Go in honest. Go in ready, or do not go in at all. Thank you so much for watching or listening. If this conversation resonated with you, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments below. And until next time, this is YinkusPepe.